Good morning. My thought for the day is about work, but it's also based on a passage of scripture from John chapter 21. And I'm just going to read a few verses to start us off. When they had finished eating, Jesus said to Simon Peter, "Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these?" "Yes, Lord," said Peter. "You know that I love you." Jesus said, "Feed my lambs." Again, Jesus said, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" He answered, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." Jesus said, "Take care of my sheep." The third time he said to him, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" Peter was hurt because Jesus asked him the third time, "Do you love me?" He said, "Lord, you know all things. You know that I love you." Jesus said, "Feed my sheep." I've always found this passage both challenging and comforting. Over the last year, it's really helped me, though, in my work. It's helped me to be a leader, a better leader. It's helped me to lead from the front sometimes, to lead from the wings, encouraging others on, and to give someone a push from the back when I haven't known what to do myself. Particularly when I've been outside my comfort zone, yeah, and I have been in the last year in a way I've never been in my career. I'd like to offer you three brief perspectives or insights into this passage which have been helpful to me. They are to reflect inwardly on ourselves and our own spiritual lives, to reflect the love of God outwards towards others, and most importantly, to look upwards, keeping our eyes fixed on Jesus. So firstly, let's consider our own hearts before God. 3 times Jesus asked Peter if he loves him, mirroring, of course, Peter's recent denial of Jesus before the cock crowed. Whether or not the significance of this was lost on Peter, we are not told. But we are told that Peter was hurt that Jesus repeatedly asked him, "Do you love me?" I know it's easy to think that Peter was a bit of an idiot, but if I'm honest, I know I was quick to forget what God has done for me, as Peter perhaps was in these situations. And I know that my own love for God is cold in comparison, can never be anything but cold in comparison with his sacrifice for us. If Jesus asked you or me right now, using our names like he did for Peter, "Do you love me?" what would we say? What do our actions and our behaviour and our thought life say about our faith relationship with Jesus? It's perhaps worth a little introspection and prayerful consideration, because I suspect that Peter's squirming and distraction techniques might be echoed in our own responses. Secondly, we need to look beyond ourselves always and believe and to our work. Whatever it is, I believe our work should help meet needs. This is Jesus' response and command to Peter, and it's relevant today, perhaps never more than it has been before during this pandemic situation. We are called most definitely to show God's love practically to others. This year in my work, I have literally been challenged by God, I believe, to feed 100 families for several weeks. Not once, but twice. These are not people in a church, and this is not spiritual food. But Jesus doesn't say to Peter or to us that we should only take care of obedient, compliant sheep who are already in the fold. No, he is the good shepherd, and he challenges us to do as he would, to seek the lost and care for those we don't identify with, perhaps, or even like very much. And along the way this year, this has been both a blessing and a leadership lesson for me. because I couldn't do this feeding of 100 families by myself. And the hero of the hour, except perhaps God, was Adrian, our school chef, who, if I'm honest, I didn't really think I had to bother with before the pandemic. I thought he was okay, but he worked in the kitchen. Wasn't really my job to develop him. That could be someone else's. I interacted him to the bare minimum, and I didn't really see it was my responsibility to get to know him even. Adrian turned into the hero though. He had the skills we needed. He was able to order £16,000 worth of food over a month last April. He was able to orchestrate its storage, packaging, and delivery because he had skills in this area. We couldn't have done without him. Now, a year on, everyone says Adrian's different. He joins in, he's part of the team, he isn't grumpy. Perhaps Adrian isn't different. Perhaps we are. Suddenly, he was the most important person because we needed him. So Adrian now feels valued and part of the vision of the team. Sometimes I've learnt perhaps taking care of the sheep involves allowing others the possibility of change and providing opportunities for trust and leadership to develop. So ask yourself, what needs can you meet in your work today? There may be the obvious ones like food, maybe the less obvious ones like opportunities to shine. What do the people I work with need from me to function or maybe to be at their best? What does God want from them and how can I facilitate this? Thirdly and finally, and most importantly, we can only show love and meet needs if regularly, daily, we recommit ourselves to Jesus and to following him, regardless of the challenges we experience in life. This requires prayer and spending time with God. And if I'm honest, this is the biggest challenge for me, even in lockdown. I think Peter struggled with this because I think Peter, like me, is a doer. And so at this point in the conversation, he says to Jesus, what's going to happen to the other disciple behind us? And Jesus answered his question like this: I want him to remain alive until I return. What is that to you? You must follow me. In other words, don't look sideways at the faith journey of others. Just plod onwards and upwards in the footsteps of Jesus, who has trod the path before us. Keep your eyes fixed on him. And may your work, whatever form it may take, even if it's only praying for others, bring blessing both to you and to those who you work with today and in the coming days and months. Thank you for listening.